So for this project, I wanted to use up some old resin that I've had sitting around for a long time. This is probably for a year. This is Total Boat resin, and you can see that it's yellowed. It's very yellowed, so you wouldn't use this for any clear project, but there's nothing the matter with it. You can still use it if you're going to use mica powder in it and color it. So I decided I was going to make letters. These are 6-inch letters. I purchased the entire alphabet. I don't remember if I got this on Amazon or not, but I'll look back on my purchases and link it in the description. And the resin, like I said, is Total Boat resin, and this is a more viscous resin. So I feel like it's not only thicker, but it sets up a little bit quicker than the art resin. It has a shorter work time. So I went ahead and set out my letters. What I'm making is Crazy Glass Lady. And I mixed the different mica powders, one silver and a couple different shades of blue. What I'm using is this Rolo, and these are some really pretty colors. I believe you get 24, and they're pearlized mica powders, kind of sparkly. And I've used quite a few of the colors already, but with this one I did 2 different blues, the silver, and a white. And the white is real pretty. And what I want to do is just, so when you pour this type of resin, you can only do it like a 1/4 inch because of the bubbles, is what the directions say. They say with these types of resins are not for deep pours, you have to layer it. And if you were using, I feel like you could probably do a 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but with me doing this for the first time, I thought I better follow the directions. So I just kind of layered it on and kind of made stripes with it and put the different colors in different areas, and made it to about a 1/4 inch deep. And you can see I did end up mixing up a little bit more and putting more in. And this is the bottom is actually the top. So this sat overnight for 24 hours. And then I went ahead and I mixed up the second layer. And with the extra that I had those little reindeer, so I went ahead and made those up. Now when you use a heat element with these molds, you have to be sure not to hold it still in any area, because you can actually melt the mold to the resin. And I actually did that with my S, and I ended up ripping it. So you have to be very careful, and you have to be careful when you're taking them out of the molds also. So here it is the next day. They're all hard, but you don't want to take it off because you're going to add another layer. And you can see I have some more of the Total Boat resin left. My yellow resin. Don't throw out your yellow resin. It's still good. You can add colors to it and you'll never know. I even added the white to it and you wouldn't know the difference. And so the second layer, I just did a solid blue, poured it all in, about another 1/4 inch. And then again, I let that sit overnight, flat level. So this resin, the next day you can actually touch it, but it does take a full 5 to 7 days to cure at temperatures between 70 and 80 degrees. And this resin is also just like the art resin, where you can only do a 1/4 inch like I was talking about earlier, but the work time is only 20 minutes, whereas with art resin the work time is 45 minutes, even longer, I've found. The most interesting thing that I found out is that it has no VOCs, so no dangerous chemicals to inhale. I mean, that was one of the reasons I stopped using it, was because I thought it did have VOCs. You can go ahead and pour it the next day, the second layer. And as you can see, I put the second layer on here. I am taking the reindeer out kind of fast, and I had some extra, so I put some more blue reindeers I made. And again, using the heat element and just trying to only touch the resin with it. So I found that Total Boat resin is also less expensive, but when I did that yellowing test, it did yellow. The clear resin yellowed faster than some of the other resins, so that was the drawback. And this is the next day again, and this is layer number 3, and I'm filling it the rest of the way up. So I probably did more than a 1/4 inch layer on each letter there. So one of the main reasons that they don't want you to do more than a 1/4 inch layer when you're doing it is because of the bubbles. That's the main reason. I feel like bubbles show up less in the colored resin. I don't know if that's true or not, or they're just less noticeable. I'm not sure. But actually the layers in between, I don't know what would make a difference because you really don't see it. And here I am again using the heat gun. And this heat gun here is actually an embossing tool. It's a lot easier to use than the great big heat gun. And I think it directs the heat more in one spot than that big heat gun does. And I'm not using the torch because I'm afraid of melting the silicone mold to the resin. Now, I mean, this is hot enough it could do the same thing, but you can see I'm trying to just direct it to the resin and then lifting it up and putting it down onto the next letter so as not to drag it across the actual silicone mold. And then here I am the next day. All the molds are set and I'm taking the mold off of the letter, and you really have to be careful, kind of work with it and get everything loose before you start pulling because you can rip them. You just have to be careful. And look at how pretty that is. I think that turned out really pretty. And here's another one. Here's the L. And again, be careful with the letters. That's pretty too. And I think I might show you one more. And there's the Y. There you go. Yeah, I think they all turned out pretty. And like I said, the S is the one that kind of stuck and I ripped it. And the S is more like a $sign, which is weird. So I don't know if they sent me the wrong one, but I have ordered another one individually. But those are some of them all done. And now I am going to add some glass to them. Because what's resin without glass? So I mix up my art resin and I just put it in the areas that I want to put the glass. You can see I'm just touching certain areas. And then this is my silver reflective glass from Michaels. It's 1/4 inch. Some of it's even smaller than 1/4 inch. And what I'm trying to do is take the part that has the silver on it and put that up so that you really see the silver. And then after I have a bunch of those placed, I am taking them and just sprinkling the glass on top so that you can see some of the other glass too. You know, the silver might be down or sideways or whatever. But I honestly, I probably messed around with this for at least 45 minutes, and you can see one of my the A's is missing. I had to make 3 A's for this setup, and I think I'm in the process of making the other A for lady that you can see down toward the bottom of the screen, or you could see toward the bottom of the screen. Okay, and then next I'm mixing up some glitter with the resin, and when you mix your glitter, it has to be almost more glitter than resin, and this phase I have not perfected. You have to have it real thick, and to be honest, I feel like it needs to be a thicker resin. I don't think art resin is the best resin to do this with. There's a lot of resins that are more viscous, like the Total Boat resin, but of course my Total Boat resin was yellowed, so you wouldn't want to use it. And what I did was I put it in a baggie and I cut a little hole in it, and then I went ahead and I made lines all over the letters. Now, if you have too much resin in it, it spreads out too much, and that's what happened a little bit with this. I mean, it's okay to spread out some, but you don't want it to, you know, spread all the way out. You want more of a line going down. And so, like I said, the more viscous the resin is, the thicker it is, the better. And if you wait until it's closer to the end of the work time, it will thicken up and it will be easier to do this with. So like I said, I put it in a baggie and I cut a hole in the bottom and I'm making the lines with that. And another way you can do it is you can use some varnish. and put your glitter in it and put it on with a toothpick. But I had so many letters that I was doing, I thought it would be better if I just put it in a baggie. And then the second time I mixed it up again, I feel like I even made it thinner. So you just have to be careful not to add too much resin to your glitter. It has to be actually more glitter than resin. And here I go making the lines again and kind of using the toothpick to spread it around. And you can see if you watch, I feel like this second batch is even spreading out a little more than the first batch. I really should have had more glitter in it or used a thicker resin or something. But like I said, I haven't perfected that yet. This is really the first time that I'm doing this. I've watched a lot of Geode YouTube videos, which I'm really interested in making some. And this is where I learned to do this. And like I said, it's the first time doing it. So next time I'll either use a thicker resin or let it thicken up a little bit more before I mix it with the glitter. Hey everyone, Crazy Glass Lady. I think they turned out really cute. So I had bought these letters a while back. I don't know if I got them off Amazon or where I got them from, but I'll figure it out and I'll link it in under the description. And I had bought them about 6 months ago wanting to do this. It just took a while for me, as it does a lot of things. And I didn't realize, so I told you I ripped the S. I didn't realize the S was a $sign. So I ended up, after I tore it, I guess there are ways to repair molds. I was actually looking up some videos, but in the meanwhile, I just ordered another S. It wasn't that expensive just for the letter S. And these, I think, turned out so pretty. So a lot of people that do this, I guess you would call it like geode type art, will actually even go further and get metallic markers and go ahead and make more lines on it. But I thought this was so small, I thought it was busy enough just as is, and I thought it looked pretty, so I didn't do that. But I did experiment, so like this one here, I did put a few metallic lines, I don't know if you can notice, with the marker, and I did color the side with the metallic marker. So otherwise it's you see the layers or whatever colors you have, which is pretty too. You really see more of the front of it than you do the side. And they'll do the metallic markers, then they'll resin over that and do more metallic markers. So they can get quite detailed. So the other thing that you can do, if you want, you can make them any depth you want. They don't have to be that thick. You can make them as thin as this, which is kind of cool. And I thought these would be really neat to use as initials on like a canvas or on glass like that. Wouldn't that be pretty? So that was another idea. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. I love to hear your comments. I love to see what you're doing. My email is under my about information. We can send pictures back and forth. I wish everybody could see them. I had talked about starting a Facebook page. I actually tried to, but then somehow it was linked to my other Facebook page and I didn't want that. So I don't know, maybe my kids can help me out and figure it out. So, and then everybody could send their pictures and we all could see what everybody's making. So anyway, just thinking. And if you enjoy the channel or enjoy the videos or want to be notified when there's future videos, go ahead and subscribe, and you will. And I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.